Kansas City Chiefs have started off pretty slow in 2025. They are now 2-3, maybe on the verge of 2-4. They're playing a pretty good Lions team this weekend. And recently they've lost to the Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Very good game. The Jaguars played a very good game. But we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, the dynasty of the 2020s, or at least the last 5 or so years. Under 500 and well behind the Bills, well behind even the Jaguars at this point, losing to road games at the Chargers, lost to the Eagles already this year. Like, how big of trouble are the Chiefs in? And I think I think there's a case that with Mahomes is all they have left. I think Andy Reid, he's looking for retirement. I think Travis Kelce's obviously looking for retirement. He's been 1 foot out the door, but he's getting older. That's understandable for a tight end. But I don't think Andy Reid's going to be there much longer. The offensive line since 2023, even the last, which is the last year they won the Super Bowl, has not played up to par, and that really came apparent in the Super Bowl. But it's also still not doing well this year. They're losing playmakers. They're not having as much guys anymore. Tyreek Hill's been gone for a while. Now you have obviously all the stuff with Rashid Rice. They have some guys, but a lot of injuries too on the Chiefs. The defense hasn't played up to par. Especially, all those years they were in the Super Bowl. Steve Spagnuolo, he was, the Chiefs never were the best defense, but they were always very creative with blitzes. Now you're not really seeing that anymore quite as much. It all comes down to Mahomes, and I think so. How big of trouble are they in? I think they're definitely in trouble dynasty wise. You know, just with the lack of talent and stuff like that. But I think, with Mahomes, even if he's not having that statistical great year, he still has that Michael Jordan mentality in him. He still has that, it's the playoffs. We're going to go. I may not put up the best stats, but we're going to go win the game. So I think as long as you have Mahomes, the Chiefs won't be in too much trouble. But in terms of the dynasty or maybe getting that fourth ring, I'm not saying as much talent around him as they had earlier in his career. So I think it depends on how you take it. If you say the dynasty's in trouble, I would say yes to that.
So I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say. When if the Chiefs are in trouble, obviously they're 2-3. Like Evan mentioned, obviously losing to the Eagles this past Monday night on the road in Jacksonville. But I'm a firm believer in as long as you got 15 at quarterback, you've got a shot. We've seen multiple times throughout the years where Patrick Mahomes has bailed Kansas City out of some. Well, I can't really cuss on the show because it's a family show, so I'll just say BS. Um, I'm sure Evan appreciates that.
I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yep.
Some
Yeah, so I'll
sticky,
just say
some
BS.
sticky situations.
Sticky situations. Okay. But as long as you've
Mhm.
got 15 at quarterback, you've got a shot. Andy Reid might be the greatest head coach. Well, Bill Belichick coached in the NFL, obviously coaching the NFL, so you can't say best of all time, but best currently, clearly. And as long as you got Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, arguably the greatest duo of all time, you got a chance.
Yeah, I
Jake, what do you
agree
think?
with Evan here. I think the Chiefs are in trouble. I think Andy Reid is looking towards retirement. I think Travis Kelce is looking towards retirement with his new wife and everything like that. I hear they're probably going to expect a baby sometime early next year, but who knows? Those are just rumors. Um, I don't obviously getting rid of obviously getting rid of some key guys on the offensive side. I don't think they surrounded Mahomes with as much offensive talent as they had in year one and year two of his career, even year three. I think that you know Kansas City. I think Kansas City needs not necessarily into a rebuild, but like build on their offensive weapons in the draft. But Jordan makes a great point here. As long as you got 15 at quarterback, you got a chance. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is possibly already one of the best to ever do it. Who knows about that? But he possibly already is. He's definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, if not the best quarterback in the NFL right now. There's also a quarterback in Buffalo named Josh Allen. He might,
Well, Jake, and I want to talk about that. We talk a lot about on this show about like Jordan says this a lot, but I like this philosophy. Like we need to wait and see, right? What has Buffalo shown? And Buffalo is an amazing team. Baltimore this year, not so much, but in the playoffs, like what have any of these teams shown? Okay, they'll beat them in September, right? What have they shown that they'll beat them come January? They have not shown that yet. So that's going to
yeah, I
be.
mean, none of these.
I, again, I think Buffalo. Again, I think right now Buffalo is a better roster than the Chiefs, but like again, what have they shown that they'll for sure beat them in the playoffs? They have not shown. But what were you saying, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, none of these teams have shown anything. Obviously the Chiefs losing to the Jaguars on Monday Night Football, and the Patriots lost to the Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills. So obviously these teams haven't shown anything that makes us believe that Bills, Buffalo would beat Kansas City or Kansas City would beat Buffalo. Neither team has shown anything like that. So I think that it's kind of I like how you say they're having wait and see.
No, and by the way, actually, I'm glad you brought up the Patriots because I think the Bills are probably the main competitor of the Chiefs this year. But shout out Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, that is not a coach you want to see in the playoffs. That man is an amazing coach, and we miss him in Tennessee.
No, I feel like New England is a big sleeper in the AFC this year, and to the dismay of everyone in the country, we were enjoying the Patriots being dead for a couple years after all that stuff with the Brady and Belichick up there. Um, I I feel like we're a little upset the Patriots are back in the national spotlight, but it is what it is.
Hey, Drake May, very good quarterback. I don't think anyone can be upset that Drake May is performing out here in the NFL.